All right, if you're just joining us, thanks again for being with us for today's sessions. We're going to get started in just 1 minute. We're just giving some time for people to log in. So just hold on, don't go anywhere, stay on the line, and we'll get started shortly. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for joining us at today's session on SRM. My name is Max Henry from the Global Supply Chain Council. So today's discussion is all going to be about supplier relationship management. This is a follow-up discussion to a previous discussion we organized a few weeks ago. And because we didn't have time to cover quite a number of topics, we decided to do this again. And I'm very pleased again to have a number of panelists joining us. Some of them were part of the discussion before, some of them are new, to continue the discussion on this very interesting topic, which is SRM. We kind of subtitle that discussion from transactional to transformational partnership, just as a follow-up to what we discussed. And we have a number of topics that we prepared from our side, but I also want to highlight that this discussion is going to be interactive. You, the audience, will be able to ask questions at any time by clicking the question mark button located at the bottom of the screen. So give it a try. Click on that question mark button. You will see the live Q&A tab opening, and this is where we're going to have all your questions. You can ask at any time. We will interrupt our own flow of topics and questions to take your questions as soon as they get posted. This discussion is just going to be 55 minutes. So again, if you are concerned about your next call or next meeting in 1 hour from now, no worries. We'll make sure to wrap up before the end of the hour so you have enough time to get ready for your next call. Before we get started with our own topics, again, to talk all about SRM, I would like to maybe get our panelists to introduce themselves to the audience so you can understand who they are, what they do. So maybe we'll start with the two ladies joining us of today's discussion. I'm always very happy to have women joining those discussions because we don't have enough women again joining those talks. So thank you again for being with us. So maybe we'll get started with you, Nadia. Go ahead and welcome you. Make sure
All
to
right.
unmute you.
Thank you so much, Max, and thank you for having me here. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nadia Bas. I work for the Asian Development Bank, which is headquarters in Manila, in the Philippines, and I have been in procurement for the last 26 years. So, very happy to be here today. Thank you. Over to you, May.
Yeah,
Great.
thanks.
Again, yeah, May, welcome. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is May. Actually, I'm from a constructions company. So, Max, you will see that actually, even though yet that we actually working in the constructions, dealing with all the reinforcement concrete and steel bar. Actually, I've been in the procurement lines for a company called Gamuda in Malaysia. So we are the infrastructure builder like the MRT. We also a property development in the procurement line for the past 30 years.
Great. Great to
That's
have
really,
you
yeah.
again, May. Thanks again for joining. We also have Sheldon joining us. Welcome, Sheldon. Go ahead. Make sure to unmute you.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be back for a second SRM call. And hello to everyone out there. So I'm Sheldon Mydat, practitioner in procurement for the last 25 years, working in defence, manufacturing, financial services, across public sectors and the private sector, and went on to found Supplier, which is an SRM platform that's been around since 2020. So really seeing the coming to prominence of SRM as a subject matter. So it's great to be here. Thank you.
Great to see you again, Sheldon. All right, we have also Deepak Dwivedi joining us. Welcome, Deepak. Make sure you're already muted, so go ahead. Welcome, yeah.
All right, thanks, Max. So good afternoon, good morning. My name is Deepak Dwivedi. I am in telecom sector for last 30 years, working mostly with MNCs like Nokia and Ericsson. Currently, I'm transitioning to another role in telecom sector. Been in APAC for more than 15 years in Singapore, handling Southeast Asia, the telecom rollouts, primarily into the services sourcing, but also looking at a bigger picture in terms of supporting the global folks in making sure that all the initiatives are on ground, working. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Deepak, and good to see you here. We have Anirban as well joining us from ISCA. Welcome, Anirban. Go ahead, yeah.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on location from where you are connected. This is Anirban. I am heading supply chain for Century Ply. It's a building material organization based out of India for last 6.5 years. Total 25 years of into this subject, into this domain. Still learning, and I found this platform as an external platform where we can share, our experience, learning, and it's a fantastic place to be. So I'm looking forward for some few important tips and way forward.
Great. Good to see you, Anirban, again. We have Sandeep as well joining us. Sandeep Sharma. Welcome, Sandeep. Go ahead, yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here with such an amazing speakers and audience for sure. This is Sandeep, and I'm basically Director Group Procurement for Domino across MENA, Middle East, North Africa, Pakistan. I've been into food role for almost like 20 years plus, and hardcore supply chain domain for around 25 years plus. So I'm sure that will be a great session. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Sandy, for joining. If you are, again, just joining us for this discussion on SRM, I want to remind all of you that we want to make this session very interactive. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask at any time. You can click on the question mark button located at the bottom of the screen. So maybe let's get started with some general question. And I wanted to, ask all of you, when you think about supplier relationship management today, how do you think it's different from the transactional model of the past? What's your view on this? Yeah, Nadia?
All right. Yes. So I think that is the core question of the whole SRM now. The world has shifted, as we have all seen, that from a very short-term based engagements to long-term value-driven partnerships. Organizations needed the projects, either it's on the IT side or the non-IT or the construction. It requires these partnerships to be coming forefront. So having said that, it has come from a more transactional to a more of a transformational partnerships that we call it. So um, I understand organizations have also realized that it's not only it's suppliers or vendors who are providing something. We need to call them as close partners, because this changes the strategic collaborations, and which influence, of course, the innovation, the sustainability, the resilience, and even the mindset. So it gives us a competitive advantage on why would we like to move from a transaction, a very kind of a rubber stamping, a broader landscape thinking, and again, which enhances its value beyond the cost that we are talking about. It's all about the value delivery itself. I see multiple hands raised. I'll give the chance to my colleagues.
Thank
Thank you.
you, Nadia. Yes, let's take the other hands. Sheldon, you would like to comment on this? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. I think it gets straight to the nub of it, to be honest with you. Listen, if you treat as transactional, you get transactional. Simple as that. Boiling everything down. I think supply chain has spent a long time being treated as an overhead, and obviously with an overhead, what do you do with an overhead? You drive costs down. It's kind of a transactional mentality. But obviously things have changed. Supply chain isn't necessarily seen as an overhead. It's absolutely the scene of driving co-resilience as an absolute imperative, and you just don't get that by treating as transactional. So it's it's that customer treating your suppliers as customers mentality. I suppose it's important to kind of recognize that along a value chain, there isn't just one customer and one supplier, or one customer at the end. Every element within the supply chain is a customer and a supplier. So if we treat them all, if we adopt that, that customer mentality rather than transactional mentality, it automatically elevates us into a different mindset, which is transformational. It sounds very anecdotal without getting into the granularity of it, but that's what sits behind it. If you treat as transactional, you get transactional. If you treat your suppliers as customers as well, because they are, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, thank you very much, Sheldon. Yeah, May. Yeah, you wanted to comment on this. Yeah, make sure to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, what we are thinking is like from the transactionals in the olden days, which is rather than a purchasing, whereby means we have a request, we just buy the thing and then we make sure it delivered. But in the nowadays, because of the changings of all the risks or whichever, so that a more close relationship with our suppliers, that actually we can procure not just talking about the cost saving, but we are actually looking at procure at the value, which include the cost, time, risk, or even though the quality. So that's why it means we should shifting our mindset as a procurement specialist, not just buying a thing, but we procure something that actually with a good value. And this is a very critical. So we have a very good relationship with our suppliers.
Yeah. Thank you, May. Yeah,
Yeah.
Deepak.
Yeah, I think so. Coming from telecom sector, just want to give the telecom landscape. So companies like Nokia started rethinking how they work with supplier, moving far beyond the old transactional model of buying and selling. And for us, it's all about how we create value and then growth together. So business is looking for faster development, and suppliers can actually bring in knowledge to improve technical solutions. We can jointly work on process improvement and product innovation. And if you look at the past, over the last decade, the company went through multiple shocks, so mergers, margin pressure, demand surge, and subsequently all this supply chain disruptions. And then also building this ESG pressure to AI-driven analytics and then innovation demands. All these have reshaped how supplier relationship create value. So it means for us actually co-developing solutions, sharing data transparently, aligning with suppliers on long-term goals like net zero operations, digital visibility, and then faster innovation cycle. So simply put, the future of SRM in telecom isn't transactional; it's more transformational. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Anirban.
So I will build on what my fellow panelists said. See, this alphabet T, we talked about transactional, we talked about transformational. So there are another two T's coming into this current era is the technology, which is helping to bring transparency and trust. So today, no, everyone is knowing about others that what is the real need or a product specification, know-how. So it is not a era where we feel that what we know, my supplier don't know. So then it's become a relationship of trust built on transparency, and it's a common goal to achieve. So this is the transformation is happening. So if I have to look back the past, my time spent in FMCG, building material, retail, it is now one platform. There is no other side of the table. We all are on the same table, which is building a common goal, and we are trying to achieve a common goal. So that is a huge transformation happens in current era, and I believe that all of us are watching and believing in that way. That's my initial uh, output. Yeah.
Thank you, Anirban. Thanks. Yeah, Sandeep. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sandeep is. Hold on. He's just leaving room. So we have a few questions, or maybe I'll take Sandeep if you're back. Uh, Okay, hold on. Sandeep, we'll come back after. But there's a question maybe was actually related to this from the audience. So maybe we'll take it right away and we can come back to our own topics after that. Let me bring this. This is a question from Colin who's asking, as supplier relationship management shift from control to collaboration, how are processes and technology evolving to support this transformation? Anybody would like to answer this? Feel free, go ahead. I see a lot of a hand raised already, so I'm not sure whether the
Want to
hand
go first?
was raised before. No, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Maybe Deepak wants to go first. I saw his hand raised before me.
Deepak? No, go ahead, Nadia. It's okay. We'll come back to Deepak
All
after.
right. Yes, that it has played. The technology has played a big role in this transformation. I would say, for example, in any of the systems, and most of the systems now have the capacity of these catalog creations. So, where are the catalogs coming from? The catalogs are coming from long-term framework agreements. What does it all do? It all optimizes the work that we are doing, the work of the sourcing managers, and the time and the faster turnaround of the overall procurement. It's a whole cycle of technology, which technology has enabled between between us and the clients and the stakeholders. So everything has come onto one platform. We do these supply framework agreements together with our partners, our vendor partners, and then our stakeholders are utilizing those catalogs. Um, Initially, when we started using the catalogs 7 8 years back, the turnaround time came from at least from 20 days to 2 hour 3 hour optimization of the time and the delivery of the goods and the services that was needed. So yes, through the use of technology, this whole relationship of SRM is continuously evolving. We are able to, the most important thing is we are able to receive the feedback. In a transactional setup, it was a one-way communication. Now when you open the road of collaboration, we have a two-way feedback, and the discussions go on how to make our processes much shorter and smarter. And that's we have heard from our own vendors. The documentation, the ITBs used to be 30 40 pages longer. Now it has become smaller. There are short form contracts. So all of this is because we have been able to do SRM effectively and efficiently, and that is again that is resulting into the excellence of the overall SRM and the benefits that all of us are reaping together. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thanks. Sheldon, yeah.
Obviously, being the founder of a tech platform that focuses very heavily on this, that I've got something to add. And I love what you just said, Nadia. It's a great point. And that's one of the, I mean, I could talk on this for hours, obviously, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to mention 2 points. And one of them talks straight to your point, Nadia. So with the collaborative relationship platforms that we're talking about, doesn't necessarily need to be ours. It needs to be, you're looking at any kind of modern SRM tech, it should be able to do this. And McKinsey called it out actually in a study. They said that digital platforms in this area can affect an additional 3 to 10% incremental savings on an annual basis, because they are able, because of the fact that they are digital, they can drive real-time activity. So vacating what would have been a legacy governance model in terms in favor of of digital continuous improvement. So if you think of 2 KPIs, time to action and time on task, both of those KPIs are radically reduced because we're not working to a legacy governance model. We're using digital technology to mobilize instantly for a start, and time on task to actually time to service deliverables in real time. So it's having a dramatic effect. And these are two KPIs in this one area that drive dramatic savings: time on task, time to action, both reduced radically. one more area. It's very important that addresses the point in the question actually, from control to collaboration. So for most of the organizations that we're talking about, and it doesn't have to be large organizations, but we're talking, let's say, a company that's got thousands of suppliers within its supply chain. Each one of those suppliers is likely to have a bilateral contract with the customer, and that's going to contain any number of sensitivities and confidentialities that neither party wants to share with other parties. Whilst at the same time, the services that supplier provides are probably provided anything but bilaterally, because they're part of a supply chain. You know, the supply chain is anything but linear. It's a complex web, and so those two swim lanes need to work in perfect harmony whilst mutually exclusively. And there's a lot of complexity that lives behind the scenes to make that work smoothly in real time for an omni-channel platform that enables a global supply chain operation that deals with all sorts of complexities and resilience challenges, disruptions. So it's a very big area. So the tech has a hell of a lot to offer now. In fact, I'd say you can't really do this without technology anymore. There's, if you think of the modern supply chain, you've got a customer, but then you've got different time zones, different languages, different operations, service lines, etc., languages, and that's just potentially a customer that's trading in different across different geographies. Now overlay against that all of the different suppliers and those interactions, this huge complex web. You
Yeah.
can't do that without technology anymore. Spreadsheets and PowerPoints don't cut it, not in
Yeah.
today's volatile environment. So yeah, the technology has a lot to offer. There's just 2 points that I'd mention.
Thank you, Sheldon. Yeah, Sandeep, yeah, you wanted to maybe comment on this, yeah.
Thank you so much. So I'm just taking off forward from what Sheldon said, time of action and action on time. Two things in supply chain. Literally, when you talk of a technology data driven supply chain, we talk of agility, resilience. Since COVID, these two words has become like a romantic words of supply chain, resilience and agility. But how do you really bring this resilience and agility in a time when it's not a matter of the biggest thing that is directly hindering the world as of now is basically geopolitical situations. Geopolitical situation has got so much of links with the moment of the trade, the moment of the commodity. Okay, we are into a food business. When you talk about typical food business, your commodity links are very high. That is not only linked to the global weathers, the crop and everything. It has got a lot of things for tariffs, geopolitical issues and a lot of things happening across. And it has become so volatile and dynamic at this point of time that if you are really not acting on time, I'm again using Sheldon words, action on time. And today we literally don't talk of saving. Saving is gone. Okay, you're talking of optimization. That's the right word to be told as optimization. How can you optimize something without dropping the customer experience, without dropping a chain in between that can provide an interruption in the supply chain? So we talk of a supplier relationship, we'll talk of a partner relationship. It's partnership. It's no supplier, no customer. It's all gone in the world now. And with this heavy kind of AI driven, data driven supply chain where the data accessibility is high and the data transfer is very high, to take a decision with an alignment is the most important thing on that. Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right. Anirban, yeah.
And to add one point over here, that the standardization and the value discovery with the technology is now immense. We are having visibility, we are having access to the all possible data, and with the AI and ML, actually we are able to crunch the data much more easier, much more faster way. So when we are sitting for a particular value discovery or value discussion, it's helping a big way to understand or identify what is the right cost, and then the discussion became very transparent, very crisp, very meaningful. I think their technology is helping us to a next notch in last couple of 1 2 years. It's completely sea change because of this thing. I think there's something which I really want to talk about, that the rest already, or my fellow panelists already picked up.
Okay. All right. Good. Let's probably we have a lot of questions already coming in, so maybe I'll take the next one already. Let's do this one. Let me see if it's working. Okay, someone is asking, what's the best way to balance cost pressure versus partnership building? Yeah. Anybody? Nadia, you want to start?
Sure, Max. Okay. So, what's the best way to balance cost pressure versus partnership building? See, the commercials, to be honest, and that's how we handle it. The commercials will stay as they are. There is a budget for any project which is going to come, right? um, Partnership is something which is going to continue, and it's going to continue until we part with our partners, or we do not work with them anymore. The partnership has to continue. Small projects, big projects, sometimes no projects. Yeah. um, and the cost from the internal stakeholders to reduce, to negotiate, would stay all is there to be again negotiated, discussed. um, for example, there is a big partner whom we work with, and we have been working with them for 8 years.
It looks like, not sure if Nadia is still with us. We lost her. Nadia, can you hear us? Maybe not. Okay. Well, she's going to come back. May, you wanted to add something to that question, yeah? Make sure to unmute, yeah. May, can you hear me? Okay, hold on. We lost me as
uh,
well. Okay, Nadia is back. Yeah, go ahead, Nadia. We lost you. Yeah.
depending on the nature of the scope or the work or the project, the cost pressure can be gone can already always be mitigated and reduced. It should Cost is not the only factor, or it should not be the affecting factor on the partnership. And practically these two things can be kept separately. And when does this happen? It happens when you are talking to the partners, when there is no project in the pipeline, in the procurement process, or about to be done. So it's more of that vacuum time when the project has been awarded, it's on its go, and they are working, the vendor or the partner is directly working with the stakeholder for some kind of implementation. So this partnership discussion needs to be growing, and we genuinely think that the landscape needs to be transparently shared with all the partners, and during these SRM conversations, that this is what is in the pipeline, it's coming. There are times with us even that we are under extreme pressure of awarding something, contracting something very quickly. We know it's enhancement, so it means it is with the same vendor partner, right? But then we negotiate. Why? Because we know our internal system, that if we need to go through a higher budget or higher cost that we have to get, there has to be a whole governance which needs to be followed, right? So what we need to do, in my simple terms, and just to summarize it, we need to air out our concerns. I won't say declare the budget right away, but I would say have your leverages, you know what you want, and you need to be very fair. And many times there are agility mechanisms that we use, and frameworks, and maybe later we can talk more on that.
Okay.
That those really solve these problems of pressure. Upfront contract framework agreements, rate card agreed to, and we know what the costs are. So that cost pressure has been taken out through more of agility mechanisms, as well as strong leverages. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Anirban, yeah.
So I'll go a little theoretical. So basically, we are talking about ZOPA, the zone of possible agreement. Now, when we are talking about cost, there has never been a particular needle that I want to have this dollar value. It is a range. So once we have a right partnership, both of us comes to a range, and then depending on the acceptance and maturity of the partnership, it has to be a win-win, because end of the day you have to believe that a correct negotiation or a correct buying has to be win-win, where both the entity is having some profit. Otherwise, it's not a negotiation, it's not a business. So the Zopa need to identify, and their technology plays a role, and rest is relationship. So under any circumstances, to be very honest, we all are cost center responsible for our respective cost center. We cannot sacrifice cost in the name of partnership. At the same time, we value partnership, so we try to reach to the Zopa zone of possible agreement, and then in that range, we try to see what best we can do for each other. So that is the my submission for this topic. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Anirban. Yeah, May, um, go ahead, May. Make sure to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at the in terms of the cost and the partnership, I was looking at the different angle. I think the most important is like when we want to build our partnership with our supply chain, the trust must be there. So means the goal must be clearly communicated. Means like what Anirban and Nadia is saying, that the win-win situation must be achieved. It cannot be one side of that actually all the benefit is on the buyer hand. So means actually we just skinning our supply chain. Yes, I can be full for once, giving you a cheaper price, but in the return, if the supplier always in the losing side, you're still getting a balance of the cost, but you're not getting the quality. But what we are looking in the transactional in today's is like what our topic is talking about, the partnership. So we grow together with our supply chain, whereby actually they build up the trust to us, and actually in the return that we have a long-term relationship, and we be able to work as a team in the actually the procurement environment. I think that is more important than we are looking at only the cost cutting or whichever. So, and in the long run, I'm sure that so once the trust and the partnership is being built up,
Mm.
definitely we will have an optimal cost, which is a benefit to the both party.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you,
thanks.
May. Interesting. Yeah, Sheldon. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, quickly. Yeah. We have a lot of questions coming in as well.
I think that question is directly answered by segmentation. How do you balance pressure, cost pressure with partnership? So segmentation asks questions such as, are the services commoditized? Is it single tender? Is it a single source provision? What's the footprint? What's the scope? Is it organization wide? Is it project wide? All these different types of questions, and whilst filtered through segmentation, they will give you your answer. I think we need to use a segmentation process. Rather than so that we can cookie cut a strategic question for its answer every time. Otherwise, you're breaking everything down and getting into the minutiae of the decision for every single one of your suppliers, and it's not an efficient way. An efficient way to answer a strategic question that has is of strategic importance, potentially the answer, is to use a segmentation framework. As long as you answer the right questions within the framework, you'll get the right answer. That's my answer to that question.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sheldon. Yeah, Sandeep. Yeah.
So, from my point of view, there's no negotiation anymore. Negotiation happens when both the sides are trying to push each other without having the proper understanding of the margins and the whole entire data of the whole manufacturing process, including the commodity buying and also the various situations. When you talk of a typical collaboration, you're talking of an open book, transparent pricing. You know the margins, you know everything. The only thing variable at that point of time is the cost of the raw material or the cost of the product, and that also depends upon a collaborative procurement, because there are a lot of times when you start hedging the commodity. To hedge the commodity, the biggest thing you need is the working capital. And if there is a collaboration in terms of the working capital, you can hedge the things at the right time while calculating the cost of the inventory in terms of the inventory holding cost. Uh, We don't negotiate anymore at all. It's everything is perfectly open. It's not open book costing you are negotiating. And if the guy is pushed to the corner, he will bypass something. That has an indirect impact on the partnership development and also the quality of the product. For my sake today, in a huge competitive environment, quality is equally important than the price. The price is not sold, the quality is sold.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandeep. Yeah, May, you wanted to react on this? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add on, sir, based on Sandeep is like, yes, he says it's true. To the actually collaborations, the other thing that actually we need to see is like, so when we do the open book, we always need to evaluate who carry the risk actually is more effective. So means like the sum or the hedging of the cost. If I'm the buyer, actually I'm very strong in the financing. I should be taken up on the financing in terms of any risk. But if some of the thing that actually like the commodities hedging or whichever is beyond the supplier's capability in holding the risk, we actually traditionally people are saying that actually I wrote in the contract everything pushed to my supplier and it doesn't work in today's scenario. So if we are the one who actually able to hold the risk, either we do the sharing, resharing, or actually even though as the buyer, we should picking up that risk and not only pushing it to our supply chain by the wording in the contract. Thanks, Max.
Okay. Thanks a lot, May. Yeah, Deepak. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I think everything is said, but just one point here that the cost pressure will never go away, and I think savings will still be one of the top priorities of the organization. I just compare, let's say, product and services sourcing, and then mostly I worked on services sourcing. So you can imagine that the projects are executed in a different way, and most of the time the costs is not a discussion anymore. The stakeholders would come and say, okay, you increase costs and make sure that project is successfully delivered if it's coming from outsourcing part. So I think somewhere you lose, somewhere you gain, and I think overall basis, I think you should be able to make impact in terms of cost. But yeah, I think you have to choose between where to attack and what is more important at what stage. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deepak. All right. We have more questions. So let me take again those questions coming in, still coming in now. And okay, this is a question that we were expecting around AI. Someone is asking, is AI in CRM hype, or are they already case studies, real case already working? Yeah. Anybody would like to uh, respond? And yeah, Sheldon, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, unmute. Yeah.
Definitely not hype. Definitely not hype. Let me give you the quick backdrop. If you think about everything we're talking about relationships. We're not talking about the contract. We've got that covered. Okay, we're talking about the supplier relationship. We know that we've got a margin within a contract. We also know that we've got 25% hidden value, if you like, that has spent years, that lives in the operational relationship space, that just hemorrhages value because we've been quite bad at it over the years. We've been very contract savvy. Now we realize that the contracts aren't kind of giving us the resilience that we want. That comes from having a good relationship. We only got to look at COVID to see that it wasn't the contracts that saved us. It was the relationships that saved us. The contracts weren't worth the paper they were written in during COVID. It was just kind of picking up the phone that helped us out, right? To use a kind of metaphor. So we don't live in the contract space. We live in the operational ether. The operational space is 90% of a company's data. 90%. But as I said, we've been ignoring it for many years, looking at contract and systemic data. So if you think about operational data, it's exactly what we're doing now. We're talking on a call and we're transcribing it using AI probably as well somewhere in the back of the system. And we can then analyze that. But if we're talking about email or Slack chat, Teams chat, creating documentation, whether it be RFX documentation or just day-to-day documentation, all that email stuff, 90% of company data, operational data. Now think of AI. What does AI do? It scrapes, if we think about ChatGPT, it scrapes the internet. It scrapes unstructured data from the internet. Okay. AI's favorite food is operational unstructured data. Okay. Now put our internal company-wide and upstream supply chain data into the mix, operational data. bringing the AI, showing the AI at that lens, that lens at all of that unstructured operational data, and it's got a mountain of data and unhidden value to surface. It's a fact. McKinsey have called that out as well as the next big play, the operational data space, the next big play for generative AI, domain specific generative AI. There's a mountain of value there, and we've already started implementing it within the platform. We've got customers on board already driving use cases. So yes, it's very, very real, very real.
Okay, interesting. Anirban, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, to answer, it is definitely not hype. Uh, it's oceans of opportunity we are using. We are using to do benchmarking. We are using, especially when we are doing commodity buying. It's a huge data, and then you are having all your prediction. So while doing the prediction, you and if you want to hedge your buying, it's a enormous benefit we are fetching out of the AI driven the Gen AI driven engines, from where we are giving a decent amount of accurate prediction, what is helping us to take a better data driven decision. I think it's definitely not hype. In fact, we are believing that it is just the beginning, and systematic approach, not to be greedy but to be hungry. It is the approach should be, because greedy, if you try to do 10 things at a time, maybe you will not get the desired result. Try to pick up three must to have, work on that, and see the magic. That's my submission. It's not hype.
Okay, thank you, Anirban. Sandeep, what's your take on AI for SRM? Yeah.
So AI cannot be a hype. A thing with a hype cannot have a chat GPT 700 million subscribers in a very short time. Cannot be a hype by any chance. Okay, the more we are getting into it, the more we are seeing the depth of it now. Okay, we were just in the simple facet of using AI like a Google, having more consolidated, easier, summarized information available to us, but it's much, much, much more than that. And as it is getting intelligent in terms of the machine learning, what you see out of it, it's something totally that surprising. It's a mind blowing. Surprises you so much that what I'm trying to get out of it and what is coming out of it. Something more detailed, more detailed. Okay, that you don't even know in your own business, which AI is telling you today. Because the whole thing, the most precious thing in this world today is data and information. There's nothing more precious than that. There has been industries on that. There has been big multinational getting in soup because of this. You know what has happened in US. Okay. So what is an AI? It's a data consolidator softwares that is coming in that actually creates an inference out of machine learning. Simple definition out of it. So this cannot be high. This is the in thing without which at one point of time you cannot survive. Thank you.
Okay, maybe Deepak, do you see AI being used or applied in SRM? And maybe I'll ask the same question to Nadia and me as well. Do you see it today happening?
I would say in procurement, there's not much success, but when we look at the operations side, where our suppliers are working on tools, there is a good amount of success in different domains. And I think for the analytics part, yes, I think we are fully on that, and I think it has helped our suppliers. So basically, 50% of our suppliers are on the same platform where we are, and we are able to share data very easily, and there is a predictive analysis that helps them also. So I think we see some progress, but I think it's still too far from where we should have been actually.
Okay, Nadia?
Yeah, just a very quick one. Um, Leveraging AI for smart collaboration, and collaboration is what SRM is all about itself also. Yeah. So AI and analytics, they are now deep enablers, understanding, and that brings the understanding of the supplier's ecosystem itself. Now we are looking from a procurement lens under the bigger umbrella of the SRM. So predicting risks, optimizing performances, or identifying innovation opportunities, It's at the fingertips when you are putting AI on top of this SRM layer itself. So SRM is supported by the digital tools, right? And that tools turns partnership into a data driven collaboration. You have the data at hand. What are those all predictive dashboards doing? Remember when we started 3 decades back? It's an Excel sheet. The Excel sheet turned into dashboard turns into analytics, and now analytics have turned into more of an AI. But if we see it very carefully, even when you have you are below the dashboard or analytics, you have an Excel sheet. That's what AI is doing for you. It can read all of the data, it can read all of the raw data, and can give you reports. So, what do we see? Two layers reduced, optimization again of time. So, all these predictive dashboards, they flag, and again, what's the benefits? Flagging early warning risks, the delivery, the financials from any of those dashboards, the cybersecurity risk. So, AI driven insights into a supplier innovation capacity. Everything from end to end is the art of possible. What do you want to do with it? It depends. What do we actually need? Do we just need it to read a raw data, or you want to make more out of it? I'll give you a very simple example. My sourcing managers are very excited since last 2 3 years because the co-pilot and chat gpt enables them to write a very clean, constructed, and structured narrative for the approval or the submission to the committees, and to make their cases. These are such short wins. Do we call them that this is still a hype? No, it's actually a tool that you can use to, again, optimize your time, go on the same path of effectivity, efficiency, and that end of the day, excellence. So, again, real time feedback loops of our performance and sustainability all comes into from those AI tools, but we just need to use how to fast track, how to use them from procurement perspective, especially in my last point. What we are still looking at, and most of the organizations are waiting for, is can it do the automated procurement for us for goods? The stay answer is still yes. There has been experiments for services which are very niche and which needs to be checked. It has to be received in a proper order, and or implementation of softwares or implementation of bigger projects. If AI is able to do that, again, it's not there yet, but we are the ones who need to write those use cases, say how can we apply to them, and not to replace, of course, jobs, to optimize what we want to do. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. Yeah, I wanted to get your reaction on AI as well. Are you using it right now? Is it is it being applied in what you do in procurement or SRM? Yeah.
Actually, means to us is like the AI actually generally coming with 3A. Firstly, is how to assist us, especially in getting out some of the analysis, which it make me those data actually tablet even much more easier than the olden days. Like what Nadia is saying, is the olden day we need to key one by one, and then we need to start to using the Excel to filter. Now means with the data actually draw from any of the I would say the procurement tools, it will actually embedded with all this data, which is will be helping us to do the analysis actually faster and easier. So that as the procurement people, that actually we are concentrating our time more on analyzing the result, and actually those workings actually is being carried out by the AI or even the dashboard reporting. And then of course means we're also looking at the coming it's not there yet, people, we keep on attending those seminar, and the software provider actually given us the insight, those agentic AI is coming in place. I will see that actually it will come into replacing our day-to-day operation, but and not replacing our brain in the thinking, but actually make our effort is more concentrating in the decision making and not focus on the day-to-day paperwork. I think that is my
Okay.
view in terms of the AI. It's still something to look forward in the future.
Yeah, more to come, definitely. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was a good talk on that AI. We have a lot of questions, and I don't think we're going to be able to take all of them. So let me take maybe a few of them. And before we wrap up, we only have 5 or 6 minutes in front of us. Your quick reaction, maybe your quick response, and maybe raise your hand if you are keen to respond to those questions. Someone is asking, we use scorecards, but suppliers sometimes don't change. What else can we do? Yeah, May.
Yeah, I would think that actually carrot and the stick is always the best tool. Give a carrot to those who work with us. Definitely, we need to make our stand with the stick in order for them to change. Because that
Okay.
is what, especially in the construction, we need to bring up to the stand that all our supply chain actually is up to the bench in terms of the quality.
Okay. Yeah, Nadia. Yeah.
I'm very surprised of this question, Max. We use scorecards, but suppliers sometimes don't change, which means there's something missing. Communication is missing. The
Mm.
SRM is missing. The supplier relationship management is missing. Talk to them. Find the honest and the genuine leverages. I go to big firms. I had the IT procurement to big 420 firms with genuine reasons. Sometimes we go and sometimes we don't go, and we go internally to our own stakeholders saying this is not correct, and we go to these big organizations say telling them no, this is not possible because of X Y or Z reason. Be genuine. Need to communicate. Need And when you communicate, that's where the collaboration comes from. They'll start listening to you when they hear you that there is a problem. The problem is not that the price is more or that we want them to change. The question is, why do they want why do we want them to change something? What is not working right? I
Yeah.
leave it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sandeep. Yeah. Your quick response on this.
So if this is something of this kind is happening, this means the building has been not built on a proper foundation. Simple. Okay, this is something. Okay, because when the proper foundation, that's the initial audits of the supplier, there where the alignment of these kind happens, and this is based on incentive processes, both sides, volume and pricing. Okay, so there where I was talking of a very transparent, documented, aligned standard operating procedure to do it. And then when supplier does this thing, he himself is gaining out of it. That's motivating for him. If something is not motivating for him, it will not last long. It will die. Thank you.
Okay. Sheldon, quickly. Yeah.
Sure. So, Nadia, again, you nailed it. Scorecards aren't about SRM. Scorecards are numbers. They're greens and reds, and they're numbers. Okay, they're kind of the result. The learning is not done from the result. The learning is done from the journey. Okay, it's the narrative. How did we get to red? How do we get from red to green? How do we get this number up to 99%? That's not about the scorecard. That's about the stuff leading to the scorecard. If you don't do that, the scorecard is irrelevant. Okay, it's about the journey, and we get it from customers. A point in case, I could talk about BAE Systems. In their case study, they call it out. They say we've got the scorecards. We do scorecards, but what we do, what they get is the journey. We want to know how we got to green, so that we can do it again. Okay, how we can maintain the green. That's what's really important. Journey, not necessarily destination.
Okay. Deepak. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a very different perspective here actually is services sourcing side, where yes, we use scorecards, but there is a joint responsibility. Sometimes the issues are not entirely on the supplier side. So first, we need to understand where the problem lies. But I think after going through this exercise for a year or so, we then incorporated in our contracts um, the penalties and liquidated damages to really make sure that suppliers do pay attention to this if it's really impacting us financially and also operationally. So I think we can gradually take this step and move to a more matured system where we can actually make sure that the KPIs are on the track, because that's very important for us to succeed in business.
Thank you, Deepak. Yeah. Anirban, yeah, you wanted to maybe have a final thought on this. Yeah.
A quick thing. First of all, scorecard should change because we all believe in continuous improvement. So if I have to make a continuous improvement, my target should need to move from a better to a better result looking target. So the moment the target moves, I think scorecard also will move. And in case scorecard is not moving, I think we need to do a deep dive to understand that where it is getting stuck because every business looking for a better year compared to the last year in all the KPIs. So I, I'm not very sure that it's a problem from it cannot be static. A business cannot be static. So the business parameters. So need to rework on the target and ensure that we have a continuous improvement. That is my take on this.
All right. Thank you very much, Anirban. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We had a lot more questions and a lot more topics, and as always, we never have enough time to cover all of it. So no worries, we will continue. I think SRM is basically a great topic, and we can have endless discussion around this. So we will probably schedule another session to continue talking about supply relationship management from different angles and covering different aspects of it. So I'll make sure again to invite you for this discussion. Thank you to all of you for asking those questions. If you again missed part of the discussion, if you arrive, so that some people arrive a little bit late, no worries. We have recorded that session, and the replay will be made available on the chain.net platform starting tomorrow night. So you can check it out again when you have some time. Thank you very much, May. Thanks, Nadia. Thank you, Anirban. Drive safe. Thank you, Sandeep, Sheldon, and Deepak for being with us today. And again, we look forward again to see you on the next event. We have pretty much an event every week, so check out our calendar on chain.net. And I will again make sure to invite you for the next SRM discussion. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
everyone.
everybody.
everyone.
You.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day. Thank you.
Bye.